Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Minnesota's stay-at-home order has expired and non-essential businesses like retail stores and Main Street businesses reopened today under new restrictions. But some businesses in the state remain closed. Bars, restaurants, and salons will have to wait until the end of May. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly hears from a restaurant and bar owner who says it's worth waiting.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has set a timeline for businesses to reopen. For restaurants and bars like Hub 41 and Brig in Detroit Lakes, they have to wait until June 1st.
We like to say we've become pros at curbside, but it would definitely be nice to serve people on plates rather than in the to-go boxes, and see our guests again.
The governor said that companies like these must wait to reopen as they are coming into direct contact with people through service.
If we get the go-ahead for June 1st, we are going to be ready to go on June 1st, and following the safety procedures and social distancing, sanitation, everything that goes in with it on opening.
Hunter says they will not be reopening until the state announces that they are able.
I think safety is first and foremost before opening your doors.
Businesses that go against Governor Walz's order can face criminal charges that carry fines up to $3,000 and prison time. And it doesn't stop there. Some business owners who announced plans to open ahead of schedule now face a lawsuit from Attorney General Keith Ellison, who's seeking penalties of up to $25,000. Many bars and restaurants we spoke with that did not want to go on camera said while they wish they could open earlier, it's not worth the repercussions. In Detroit Lakes, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
To read the current guidelines for Minnesota, head over to Valley News Live's news app. Minnesota's legislative session ended with no deal on a $1 billion bonding bill. That issue and other unfinished business will get a second chance during a special session on June 12th. As Esme Murphy reports, the governor and legislative leaders did praise the issues that they were able to tackle during the unprecedented crisis.
The House is adjourned, sine die.
The legislature went out with a whimper, failing to agree on an all-important bonding bill that would fund hundreds of construction projects around the state and create thousands of jobs. Without naming him, Democratic leaders and the governor placed the blame on House Minority Leader Kurt Daudt, who at one point said he wouldn't agree to a bonding bill unless the governor gave up his COVID-19 emergency powers. The Republican Senate Majority Leader expressed optimism a deal can happen in the June 12th session.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the future. If we hadn't had COVID, I think all of those things would have happened at the end.
Representative Daudt is also upbeat.
We're going to have 3 weeks to work on things, and hopefully we can come together on a bunch of issues and pass a bonding bill.
Legislative leaders and the governor did praise the early weeks of the session when unprecedented cooperation led to $500 million in emergency COVID-19 funding and a few signature bills, including a deal for emergency insulin and a Tobacco 21 bill, which bars the sale of all nicotine and vaping products to those under 21.
I do think it is worth noting much was accomplished during the session together. We have taken steps that hadn't been asked of leaders in the state before, and we did it together.
One issue from the session is apparently in legal limbo, and that's the status of pay raises for some 50,000 state employees. The House and Senate could not agree on the raises, but because they were negotiated last year, they may still go into effect. A decision and an announcement on that should come later this week.
That was Esme Murphy reporting. Minnesota is reporting another 9 deaths in the state linked to the coronavirus, bringing the state's total to 731. Overall, another 705 positive cases were reported, pushing the state's total to over 16,000. Nearly 11,000 patients are listed as no longer needing isolation. There's been another death related to the coronavirus in North Dakota. The most recent case, a woman in her 90s from Ramsey County with underlying health conditions. It's the 44th death in the state linked to the virus. 37 deaths are due to the virus. 4 are patients who died with the virus, and 3 death records are still pending. Overall, the state saw another 31 positive tests, 26 of those in Cass County. The state considers 712 cases as active, with over 1,200 patients listed as recovered. New North Dakota guidelines for large gatherings are prompting one Fargo couple to have not only one wedding, but two. Kyla Halverson and her husband Austin got married earlier this month with just 12 people in attendance. But the newlyweds say they have a second ceremony planned next month with around 150 friends and family members.
I'm really sad, like there's gonna be a lot of people that are missing it just because it's so kind of last minute changes, like people have to work, it's on a Sunday on top of it, but we couldn't push it off.
Many local venues tell us that they're still trying to figure out what social distancing will look like for a group with that many people, but they are excited that more people will be able to celebrate couples on their big day. U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley says the investigation of the death of a 5-year-old girl from the Spirit Lake Reservation could lead to more arrests and additional charges. Today, the child's foster parents appeared before a judge. Eric Longy Jr. and Tammy Longy were charged with several counts of assault. They're accused of abusing Raven Thompson. Court documents say she died as a result of blunt force trauma. Wrigley says their charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. And he also said today that this investigation is still in the early phases, but that the Longys needed to be held accountable and off the streets.
This investigation is in its earliest phases. It's continuing even as we speak. And law enforcement has a plan going forward for the other people to be who are going to be interviewed.
The Longys will appear in federal court on May 21st. The U.S. Attorney says the charges that they've received will surely change as this investigation unfolds. COVID-19 testing is planned for the Cass County Jail tomorrow. The Sheriff's Office, with help from the North Dakota National Guard, will test all correctional staff and inmates. The testing will take place at the jail, and at this time, there are no known positive COVID-19 cases with staff or inmates inside the facility. The testing will establish a baseline and help with future restructuring of the general population to make room for new arrestees coming into the facility who will need to be isolated. There's still no sign of a missing 13-year-old in Bemidji. Her name is Megan Barney. She was last seen near Hillcrest Manor Mobile Home Park in Bemidji Sunday afternoon. Authorities say that they believe she may still be in the Bemidji area and also say that she has family in the Cloquet area. What was weeks is now just days, and we still need some help reaching our goal. Thanks to your generosity, we've raised more than $28,000 to benefit the Great Plains Food Bank. Our goal is $30,000 in this virtual food drive. And if you'd like to join in and help us reach that goal, check out valleynewslive.com or the VNL News app and look for this button.
Beautiful weather today. Temperatures kissing 80 degrees in the Grand Forks and Fargo areas. We did have some gusty winds that were strongest from Devils Lake west towards Minot, where gusts approached 40 miles per hour. There was fire danger there. We love sharing your photos. And today we're going to highlight an 8-year-old photographer's shot. This is Devin's shot at Prairie Lake near Pelican Rapids. Just glorious colors there, Devin. Good job. Here's a look at your, current conditions. Outside we have quiet conditions here in the FM area. 65 degrees and the wind under 10 miles per hour after a pretty breezy day. 63 Fergus Falls and Detroit Lakes. As we look off to the west, we have a cooler 59 in Langdon and 63 in Roseau with Babe the Blue Ox basking in 60 degrees. A few clouds moving into the central Dakotas, but way out to the west, and I mean way out there, West Coast style, we have some blue on the radar, and living in the Dakotas and Minnesota, that indicates snow. In California, where there is a winter weather advisory, and this is not me laughing, it's just a fact. Now, as we look at the overnight forecast, no 30s here, 50s to start our day. We will have a little bit of a breeze out there, but the morning hours will be the nicest between that sunrise and basically the midday hour. The winds won't even be all that strong, but then 15 to 20 mile per hour winds develop, and they'll get gusty out to the west again in the afternoon. That fire danger, thanks to the dry tinder in the ground, hasn't been replaced by fresh growth yet. really leaves us with a high fire danger in that Devils Lake Basin. That will continue tomorrow. Temperatures once again near 80 degrees here in the FM area and in Grand Forks. We'll see a lot of 60s elsewhere for another breezy but beautiful spring-like day in the valley. 52 in Fargo, your sunrise 5:47 in the morning. Going through the afternoon hours, we'll soar to the upper 70s, briefly jump into the low 80s, and then spend most of our evening sunny, breezy, and in the 70s. Here's your hometown forecast. Roseau, 75 degrees. Out in Oak, 72. Fergus Falls, 71. And along the northern tier of our South Dakota counties, low 70s expected there. Hey, have you seen the beautiful color to the sunrises and sunsets lately? I know you have, because many of you have shared photos and uploaded them at valleynewslive.com. Gene captured this Clay County one. Particulates in the lower atmosphere cause more of the reds and orange hues to be bent down towards our eyeballs, and that's what makes for those beautiful and glorious colorful sunrises and sets. Windy weather continues on Wednesday. It will be unwintry. 84 gorgeous degrees. On Thursday, it looks still on the windy side of things and still warm as well at 80. Friday will bring a chance of some showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder as well. We'll cool off as a result into the 70s. Saturday looks great for the kickoff of the Memorial Day weekend. And it does look like Saturday night and into Sunday morning, a slight chance of some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. And then into Memorial Day, it looks pretty pleasant as well. So other than a little bit of wind, Mike, it's very spring-like, if not summer-like on some days.
And the weekend looks good, especially for the holiday.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Some Americans can't find access to healthy food right now, but farmers are dumping their supply. Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10, why our food system wasn't set up for a pandemic.